Okay, so we're starting off with Lucirin at Trebrynth. Now, Trebrynth is a planet that is covered entirely by one ocean and a rainforest. And at night, a lot of its plants are bioluminescent. And above those trees is our hero Lucirin. Now, he's flying on the back of his mount, who he's named Panoa. And he jumps off the back of Panoa and starts dive bombing for the ground. Like, he's going really, really fast, and it's looking like he's going to just slam into the ground. Okay, but then at the very last second, he grabs his cape and grabs the two ends of it, and it becomes sort of a parachute kind of thing, and he hits the ground and rolls and stands back up. Now, Lucirin is here for a purpose. He looks off in the distance and he sees this bellowing, angry cave. And I say it's angry because it seems like it has a personality of itself. It's just bellowing out smoke, and the bioluminescent plants are like shimmying. It's almost like the cave is strangling the plants. Lucirin walks forward to investigate. Now, on his back, he's got a pack that's got a few stuff in it that he uses. And on his belt, he's got a very important sword. One of the very first things he does is draws that sword. He enters the cave, and he looks on the walls of the cave, and he can see the plants that have moved in just shimmying back and forth, and they're being strangled, and the smoke is bellowing. So Lucirin covers his face. The cave is long and winding. It's almost just like one tunnel, and it's got claw marks on the side, so it looks like something's been digging this thing. He starts walking his way until he starts noticing on the bottom of the cave, he's making a lot of crackling noises that aren't just rocks. And he looks down and he sees skulls and bones and just lots of dead carcasses. Eventually he gets so deep into the cave that the plants, which have still been shimmying rather violently, burst into flames and leave Lucirin in complete pitch black. So it seems like Lucirin's lost. He's fumbling around, he can't see anything, until he starts hearing a voice, and it guides him. It tells him, turn left, keep going, go downhill. He walks until he notices his footsteps are no longer making a specific sound. They're making less of an echo, and they're making more like little click-clacks. So he realizes that he's in a chamber. And he walks a little farther toward the chamber, and he starts to quiver a little bit, but not too much. We can still see that this is sort of the norm for him. He puts his sword forward into the blackness. And the hilt of the sword is pretty special. It's made of living vines that constrict around his hand. As he starts pointing the sword out forward, this giant beast of an animal just starts erupting in a rageful anger toward him. And it seems like with his rage, the walls come to flames, and he starts pounding on the walls. He's furious. This thing just wants to kill the shit out of him. He starts fighting this thing, and it seems like he can't land a hit on this thing. This thing has this tough iron black skin. This thing is just beating the crap out of him. Lucirin's sword can't even penetrate until the thing finally takes his giant hand and just clasps it over Lucirin. And his whole body is just like pinned to the ground. Okay, so he's just writhing, and right as soon as his breath is being squeezed from his life, he closes his eyes, and it looks like he's like holding his breath almost, but then he opens his eyes, his mouth, his nostrils, and they start to glow a light bluish color. The light hurts the beast, and the beast fumbles back and, is waving its hand, trying to cool down its hand. Now Lucirin's sword is starting to glow a blue, and it's making this hissing sound like it's burning the air around it. And Lucirin suddenly has this amazing ability. He's jumping enormous feats. He's slashing at the thing. The beast can't seem to get it off him. He's too slow. He can't move around. Lucirin dodges underneath his legs and cuts the tendons out from underneath his legs, and the thing falls to the ground. It's writhing. As Lucirin's hopping around this thing trying to get it, it grabs him and it swallows him. And everything's a little silent for a moment. The beast starts licking its wounds, and then it starts writhing in pain again, and Lucirin has pierced the belly of the beast, pierced the iron hide skin, and he's bolted right out of that thing. And the beast slumps over and dies. Then Lucirin walks over to its kneecap and cuts the thing off. He takes the kneecap and he puts it in his sack, and he walks back out, and he gets on Panoa and flies away.